to the best of my ability.
To the best of my ability.
And I will faithfully perform the duties of the office.
And I will faithfully perform the duties of the office.
Of Governor of the State of New York.
Of Governor of the State of New York.
So help me God.
So help me God.
It was just one of the most extraordinary days to hear the boss introduced for the first time as governor of the state of New York.
Come from a grocery store and be the man he is and the governor that he was, then there's hope for everybody to achieve.
He was walking after an intramural basketball game, going back to class, and had a cigarette in his hand. And the dean of men, Father McGovern, said to him, "Mario, you're smoking. You have to be fined for that." He says, "Father, I'm not smoking." He says, "Mario, you have a cigarette in your hand." He said, "Father, I have shoes on, I'm not walking."
The first person of Italian descent to be governor of New York, Cuomo had to first beat New York's Mayor Ed Koch in the Democratic primary, and went on to narrowly defeat Republican Louis Lerman, who tried to beat Cuomo with money, mostly his own. Cuomo's first claim to national attention came just 1 week after he took office, when prisoners rioted at the correctional facility at Ossining, formerly Sing Sing, seized 19 guards as hostages. Cuomo was determined to avoid the mistakes that Nelson Rockefeller had made in the 1971 Attica prison riot, when 43 persons were killed.
And for 53 straight hours, we negotiated over the phone with Tom Coughlin, and we managed to save all of the hostages.
Early on, it made a great impression on the public that this was a guy who was in charge.
You have to be able to believe in something. You can believe in religion, you can believe in the future, you can believe in study.
He never forgot his religious, ethnic, or working class roots.
I believe in making things better, even if only a little bit better. I believe that nothing will ever be perfect, but that you can always improve things, and it's worth giving all your energy just to improve it this much.
When he spoke, this country listened. Not the state alone, but the country.
I've been in rooms with Mario Cuomo where we walked into a room of 300-400 people, and the room was tense. And by the time Mario Cuomo was done talking to this group, they wanted to carry him out on their shoulders.
Thank you very much, Lieutenant Governor Stan Lundeen. There's a phone. Tell him I'll be ready in about an hour, would you? Our leader of the state Senate.
He was able to take a complicated issue and bring it down to simple terms that everybody could understand.
And I think the country saw this at the San Francisco convention.
Reagan was very popular. He was running for election, and no one wanted to take him on.
And the president is right. In many ways, we are a shining city on a hill. But the hard truth is that not everyone is sharing in this city's splendor and glory.
If you look back and remember what it was like in the 1970s and 80s, with murders everywhere, everybody wanted the death penalty, and he said that is not the answer.
You're not in favor of the death penalty because A, you do not think it acts as a deterrent, and B, because you think innocent people can be.
And it's debasing, degenerating, right. And it's an instruction in brutality.
It certainly is a position that's held by most New Yorkers today, and I think that's due in no small measure to his courageous stand.
In the 1980s, the abortion question was a vexing political problem for politicians, particularly Catholic politicians.
And he wanted to see how his faith could be reconciled with his political stance.
We can be fully Catholic and still all the while respecting and enjoying our unique pluralistic democracy. And we can do it, even as politicians.
There are so many things that he's done that nobody else was doing at the time.
I have a limited amount of time to work. I don't want to waste it. I really don't.
There were over 60 programs and activities that were the first in the nation.
You think about the welfare programs.
The New York State ethics law.
Homeless assistant housing, all the AIDS work.
He wanted to take care of the family of New York.
The things we have today are the things he created, we take for granted. The problem he may have is there's too many things to remember what he's done.
Mario's choice of me as the first woman judge of the High Court of the State of New York, and then first woman chief judge.
He was nonstop, but I still miss working for him terribly.
The man and his ideals were truly deep convictions. He didn't have a public rhetoric and a private pursuit, so to speak.
My brother died, and we had the funeral, and Mario showed up at the wake in the midst of not having any time at all. This was a sacrifice.
I had the misfortune of losing my father when I was 24 years old. And the person who stepped into that void was Mario Cuomo.
He gave me a social conscience.
People who know Mario Cuomo know what I mean about a high level of intellectual energy and curiosity.
If he were to have a discussion with you, he would take one point of view and then would convince you of that. And then you would try to take that point of view, and he would convince you that you were wrong. That was Mario.
You know, you knew when you worked for him that he would work as hard or harder than you would work.
You knew every day when you walked in the office you were fighting on the right side of the fight. It was truly a privilege every day spent with him.
Mario, I love you. I love you. You know that, and Matilda knows that too.
He was my boss, but he was my professor, and it was every day I learned something new. And I will forever be grateful.
Mario's greatest accomplishment was marrying Matilda Raffa.
One of the governor's favorite phrases is carpe diem. So carpe diem, Gov. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Governor.
Governor, I just want to wish you a happy birthday. I want to once again say thank you for everything.
Happy birthday, dear Mario.
Happy birthday, Governor.
Happy birthday, Governor.
Happy birthday, Gov.
Happy birthday,
Mario Cuomo.
Many, many more years. We love you.
We love you, Mario.
That struggle to live with dignity is the real story of the shining city. And it's a story, ladies and gentlemen, that I didn't read in a book or learn in a classroom. I saw it and lived it like many of you. I watched a small man with thick calluses on both his hands work 15 and 16 hours a day. I saw him once literally bleed from the bottoms of his feet. A man who came here uneducated, alone, unable to speak the language, who taught me all I needed to know about faith and hard work by the simple eloquence of his example. I learned about our kind of democracy from my father. And I learned about our obligation to each other from him and my mother. They asked only for a chance to work and to make the world better for their children. And they asked to be protected in those moments when they would not be able to protect themselves. This nation and this nation's government did that for them, and that they were able to build a family and live in dignity and see one of their children go from behind their little grocery store in South Jamaica on the other side of the tracks where he was born to occupy the highest seat in the greatest state, in the greatest nation, in the only world we know, is an ineffably beautiful tribute to the democratic process.